Let's decide what this orange disco CJ Stroud rookie card is worth. 2023 Panini Prizm rookie card number 339. We have our 15 comps on the right-hand side put into our offer sheet generator. The low was 114.95. The high was 208.50. Came to an 81.38% swing, which is right in my sweet zone between 50 and 100%. On the top right-hand side, we've got 740 submissions, 371 are perfect 10s, a 50% return rate for perfect 10s. Bottom left-hand side, we have our average eBay winning bid, I should say. 146.94. That's what the average person had to pay in order to win this card. 127.17 is the average seller take-home. Our stoplight offer sheet, green is 70% at 102. Yellow is 75% at 110, and red is our 80% offer at 117. Down below here, we're going to sort ascending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the top after doing so. 116 is going to turn into my new hard stop. It falls between the yellow and the red. And to sell in the top third, 130 would net me about $14 at a 150.50. Buy it now. Next up, let's decide what this PSA 10 CJ Stroud rookie card is worth. Once again, we've got the Orange Disco 2023 Panini Prizm 339. On the right-hand side, we have all of the recent comps entered into our offer sheet generator. Low of 350, a high of 490, a swing of 40%, which is to be expected when you have a PSA 10. More consistent, people aren't hunting a perfect raw grade. But again, 40%, there's still a little bit of opportunity to make some profit on trading this card. Top right-hand corner, we see a PSA return rate for a perfect 10 at 50%. Bottom left, our blue is 394.32. That's the average bid. 341.77 is going to be average seller take-home. Stoplight system, 70% offer of the blue is 276. 75% is 295, and a 315 for the 80% hard stop. Let's see if we can get into the bottom third within that stoplight system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the bottom. 312.43 gets me into the bottom third of recent sales. So that would be my new hard stop. 312 is what I'd be willing to pay for this card, and 351 is what I'd be asking for it. So about a $39 profit margin, and selling that at a 405. Buy it now or minimum bid. Next up, we're taking a look at this Anthony Richardson rookie card, an orange disco in a raw format, 2023 Prizm number 343. On the right-hand side, we have our auctions, 15 of them into the offer sheets. A low of $30, a high of $80, so 166 as far as your percent swing from low to high. So that's a bit crazy, but we do have that one outlier. As you can see, everything else is pretty consistent. So I'm definitely taking a look at this card for opportunities. On the top right-hand side, we'll see a return rate for a perfect PSA 10 comes to 41%. In the blue, we have the average bid. That's $43.33 to win one of these cards at auction. $37 is average seller take-home. Stoplight offer system, a 30% offer of the blue number is $30. 75% is $32, and 80% is $34. With that big swing, I'm imagining we might be able to get into the bottom third if we sort this ascending. Let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So $29.20 gets me into the bottom third of sales for this card. So for me, that means that the green number here turns into my final offer. I might first offer at $25, second offer at $28, final offer at $30 in person. If I wanted to sell into the top third of sales, let's go 5 from the bottom. Let's call it $43 is what I would mark this card as. So could potentially swing a $13 profit from that green to the top third, and that's a $50 buy it now, easy round number or minimum bid for this card. Next up, we have the PSA 10 Anthony Richardson Orange Disco 343 from the 2023 Panini Prizm. On the right-hand side, you'll see we have limited comps on this one, just not that many out there. We're looking at, 8 or so. The low was 187.50. The high was 255. The swing was 36%. I'm less concerned about there being less opportunities to comp this card out, just because it is at PSA 10 grade. Traditionally, Once you have things graded, they're a little more consistent in their swing. So 36%, getting a little low for my preferences. Again, I prefer between 50 and 100%, but that's hard to find with a PSA 10 grade. 223 is going to be the average bid price paid, and 193 is the average seller take home after fees. Our stoplight, 70%. First offer, 156. Second offer at 75%, 167. Final offer, 178 at the 80%. Let's get into the top third of sales. So what did I say? We had 8. So we're going to go down to 2 and 3. So 172 and 186. So let's call it an even 178 gets me into the bottom third of these sales, which means I'm right there at that 80% mark. So I'd be willing to probably spend up to 178 on this card in a perfect 10. Drop up from the bottom here to looks like between 216 and 212 will get me in the top third of sales. So let's call it 214. That would be a nice little profit margin if you could pull it off. Looks like a 245 buy it now to get that 212. So a little bit of opportunity here, especially with the scarcity of the card. Only 41%, which is a little bit lower than what we've seen so far with other cards within this Prizm set as far as the rate of return. Still, though, a pretty good rate of return. Next, let's figure out what this Bryce Young rookie card is worth. It's an orange disco. Let's put an N there. Okay, it's an orange disco, 2023 Panini Prizm rookie card number 311. We have obviously one outlier in the graph. 15 comps here on the right. The low was 1550. The high was 51%. 229 swing, but that $51 is really sort of bringing that swing much higher than it should be. Everything else is pretty consistent, so we'll have to take a look at the meat and potatoes down below to make sure we've got a offer that matters. Top right-hand side, 42% rate of return for the PSA 10 offer. That's closer to the Anthony Richardson than it is the CJ Stroud for that return rate. $27.01 is the average bid to win one of these cards. $23 is average seller take-home. Looks like $18 is going to be first offer in the green, 70%. Second offer, $20. Final offer, 80% at $21. And let's go ahead and sort ascending to get into the bottom third of sales. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $19.22 gets me into the bottom third of sales, which turns into my new final offer. It's just slightly above the green. So I'd probably first offer at 16, second offer at probably 18, and then say 19 is my final. Take it or leave it in person. From the bottom, we're looking at $26.59 to get in the top third of sales, which equates to a $31 buy it now or minimum bid. Let's see what this card is worth. It's a PSA 10 Bryce Young rookie card, number 311, orange disco. We got 14 comps actually this time to enter into the offer generator. Not quite a full load here, but close enough. 93 is a low, a high of 162.50, 74% swing, which is right where I like to see it. That's between that 50 and 100%. That's some opportunity there if you ask me. As you can see, we have a PSA return rate of 42%. Blue average bid price in order to win one is 133. Seller take home 115 in the orange. First offer in the green, 93 at a 70% offer. Second offer, 100 at a 75% offer, and 107 at that 80% offer. Let's get into the bottom third of sales. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 106, 108, right in there is going to be the bottom third of sales, which matches up perfectly with that 80% offer. So I'd stay consistent with this. However, we are so close to that $100 mark, I think I would sit tight at $100. I think you get a nice round number and convince somebody to move on from their card in person in order to get into the top third of sales. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 127, 128 right in there would give you your top third of sales, which equates to a 147.50 buy it now. That would give you an opportunity to make about $27 at that $100 to $127 swing. Nice card to keep my eye on. That's definitely high on my list right now. Let's see what this Will Levis rookie card is worth. Orange Disco 2023 Prizm rookie card number 397. A bit of a swing on this card. Our offer sheet generator over here, we have our 15 comps. 1250 is a low, 38 is the high. People are hunting that perfect card, as you can see, and not paying much for those questionable ones. 204 is the swing, low to high, which is a little rich for my blood, to be honest with you. Up top right-hand corner, we're seeing a 52% rate of return. That's closer to that CJ Stroud rather than the Bryce Young or the Anthony Richardson, which is interesting. So nice little rate of return there. $24 is going to be the $24.51 is the average bid price to win one of these cards. We'll call it 21 is average seller take home. 17 is going to be my first offer at 70%. 18 is second offer at 75%, and 19 is final offer at 80%. Let's see what gets us into the bottom third with that massive swing. This could be interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1706. Yep, as I expected. When you've got that big swing, that means you can generally get into that bottom third of the market relatively easy. That means $17 is going, or 1716 is going to be my final offer on this card. I'd first offer at probably 12, second offer at 15, and move up to 17 on this card. We'll go up from the bottom here. $24 could net us about a $7 profit, or $28.87. Buy it now. We have the PSA 10 Will Levis rookie card, orange disco, $397. 15 comps on this one. Swing of 47%, which is looking nice for me. So 81's the low, 119.99 the high. That 47% swing is interesting because you don't usually see that with perfect PSA 10s. Usually you got that 20 to 40, but this is getting into that territory where I like to target because that means it's a perfect grade, obviously, but there's also the opportunity to make a bit of profit in between. So not as much concern because you're not dealing with a raw card. PSA return rate, 52%. Nice return rate on that. 101.89 is going to be the average bid to win in the blue. We've got seller take home in the orange at $88 after fees. And then the first offer of 71, that's the 70%. 75% is 76, and $81 is our 80%. Let's see if we can get into the bottom third of sales. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So $82.98 gets us into the bottom third of sales, which means I stick tight at that 80% offer of $81.51. And let's go up from the bottom. Looks like 90. Oop, I went too far. $95 could net yourself about a $14 or so profit with a $109.99 best offer minimum bid or buy it now.